And a lot of people think their kids don't count of their co-wife because they feel like their co-wife doesn't count. And they feel as though she's worthless. So the kids are going to go with the mother and let them be worthless together. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships and co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, with this video is called My Co-Wife's Kids Don't Count and My Husband's Kids Don't Matter. Now, this is something that is another important topic, and someone like myself, I really wonder why some people are the way they are. Now, that means that much of how some initial wives or subsequent wives may feel is that when they look at their bonus children or their husband's children or their co-wife's children, they might not be biologically the children of their husband. I know that sounds confusing. So when a man marries two women, and let's say, for example, like in my case, I have 7 children with Coach Nazir. They're all biologically his. He has 2 bonus babies with Coach Nyla, and then he has 3 children biologically with her as well, okay? So that means he's got 10 children. So when people go, you got more than she had. No, he's got more than both of us. So he has 10 biological, 2 bonus children or stepchildren. We don't like the term step. We say bonus, and I love the energy around it. Now, some people may say, well, these 2 bonus children that he has, they don't matter. And then some may say, they all right, but these kids he has with her biologically don't matter. None of these kids over here don't matter because they're all subsequent children. Throw them out. And mine matter because you're the initial wife. You're the legal wife. You were first. They matter. Let me tell you where this thinking can be very toxic, especially when children are involved, because children, from what we all know to be true and a fact, if their lives are not ended by the time they're young or they grow to be older, they have memory. And in many cases, they'll have total recall of what was done around them, to them, who did it, what they sounded like, what the room smelled like, the looks they got, the verbal communication, the nonverbal communication. And some people will get mad. Some people, meaning wives, will get mad and not even speak to bonus children or the children of their husband through biology. Like they just completely don't exist. So they might be angry for whatever reason it is at their husband or their co-wife and say, well, you know what, your kids don't even matter. I've seen in some cases, and this really makes me sad, as I've had the opportunity, unbeknownst to me in some cases, to be in a blended family when I was very young. I had a brother that lived in Colorado. I lived in the upper Midwest. I ain't know he was my brother until we were in an alley playing with neighborhood kids in my state. And I was walking to my grandmother's house and he was walking to my grandmother's house. And I said, well, where are you going? He was like, I'm going to my grandmother's house. I'm like, that's my grandmother's house. He was like, well, that's my grandmother's house. He had came into town. And before the adults could get us together, he had found his way outside into where I was. And I was like, who this? And they kind of sat us down and told us, because my brother's mother was white. She's passed away. And our father's black. So we have 2 different moms. Okay. So his white side of his family moved him out of the state to get him away from the black side of the family. It was a whole thing, y'all. It happens. Okay. And this was a long time ago. And so we didn't get to know each other. And if he came around, I didn't know who he was. So he stayed after that, and he became my best buddy. But look at the damage. We had to play catch up on our own. People didn't sit kids down properly back then. So I knew the value of not diminishing bonus children, if you call them stepchildren, or the children of my husband and my co-wife. And and she's from a massive blended family. Like, this is what she does. Coach Nyla knows how to do this. This is all she's ever known. She's masterful at it because there's so many people to talk to, so many people to kind of wrangle up, and so many people to connect with. And she's been raised with cousins and just an abundance of relatives and family in her life. It's like she doesn't not know how to, blend a family. So that's why our family initially was so appealing to her. And she's told me this, and I love that transparency. She was like, look, I'm the oldest of 9, and there's a batch, and then my mother had another batch. I'm like, this is why you know how to do this. This is why it has not been completely easy and seamless, no, but she knows how to share people with people.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace. I'm Coach Fatimah, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships. And I'm here to talk to you about the Nourishing Fulfillment Counseling Program. What I do is help women from all walks of life obtain information in the areas of relationship wellness, emotional resilience, self-confidence, and inner discovery for best results for their future success. Growth is about implementation for best practices, for best results for your future. So the Nourishing Fulfillment Counseling Program is here for you to help you kind of weed through some of those negative thoughts of self-limiting beliefs so that you can move forward and attain your goals so that you live a truly fulfilling life. So if you want to join me for my Nourishing Fulfillment Counseling Program, be sure that you visit me at CoachFatimah.com for details and start your Nourishing Fulfillment Counseling session today. I'll see you and I look forward to working with you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
She's not territorial about family, right? Now, she will protect them and do everything she has to do, but she understands the wisdom in some cases where we have to blend and all these things. So she knows. Myself, however, I was raised in the house with my grandparents, and it was very quiet. And my brother would come to visit every now and again. And then my dad had 3 other daughters. I have 3 younger sisters behind me. One passed away from childhood brain cancer, and she died at 13. So the rest of us, and that was in 2001. So the rest of us had each other, and we just weren't in each other's lives consistently. So I know what it's like when kids are like, that's not I don't know you. Or I have another child's mother kind of look me up and down and keep walking. And I'm like, well, dang, and I'm 9 or whatever the case may be. So I know what it feels like to be on the other end of rejection. And I've been rejected much in my life, although people see the end result and they think, well, this popular. No, it wasn't always a popularity attached to me. So that's why I'm not so easily moved when people find me unpopular. That's fine. They can have their opinion. But as long as I'm popular with the right, loving, supportive people, that's all I care about. And that's my family. So whether it be my sister friends or my co-wife, my children, our husband, my bonus babies, those are the people that I care about in my life. So, and of course, people that are supportive on the internet, interwebs, and that support the OPR team and family. We really, really appreciate you all because it's not easy to be on these platforms and have to go, if I say something in the comments, people will see it and they'll judge me. And we really appreciate all the du'as and all the well wishes and all the support that you all give us and encouragement and your ability to see us all as individuals and see that we all have our own experiences and we've had our own challenges individually and we've come together as a team and a family. We really appreciate you all. Keep up the good work. Thank you so, so much. But knowing that my co-wife's, let me get back on this, knowing that my co-wife's kids matters to me. So if people have come to me, and they have in the past, well, doesn't she have 2 kids? And doesn't she? Okay, yeah. Like, I want to know what they want. What do you have to gain by saying that? Like, what is the problem? Let's talk about it. Because I'll make time. Let's talk about it. What's the problem? But isn't she divorced? Yeah, she is. Because sometimes people, for every desire that they have for marriages to work, sometimes they don't. And she's told her story. I don't need to tell it. She's way better at telling her life story than me. What do you know? So I don't try to tell it. I don't try to remix it. I don't try to diminish it or add to it. It is what it is. And she stated it clearly. But what I also don't do is support those that try to use this as a tool to hurt or to act like she's less than because she was married before, she has children prior to the children she has with Coach Nazir. Because I have friends of mine that were married before and got divorced and became single mothers and then married again. So their stories are very similar to hers, and they've shared with me as well the privilege of not having to go through that and the honor that you feel in your heart when you have went through it and come out shining on the other side. But then it's also met with a humility and a heart that is humble and ready to share with others so that it's not as difficult for them, and to be met with judgment and say, well, your kids don't count. And a lot of people think their kids don't count of their co-wife because they feel like their co-wife doesn't count. And they feel as though she's worthless. So the kids are going to go with the mother and let them be worthless together. We got to think about the mindset that we're having when we're having these conversations and when we're talking about and we're speaking to others about our co-wives, or if we're speaking to others about our husband's children that are not ours through biology. Now, treating children the same is important. So what I love that men who practice polygyny, and they're doing it in such a way that is so healthy and it's feeding their family with the good information and the good treatment, is that they don't mistreat their children from one wife to another and go, well, I'm going to treat these kids better. And I'm going to treat these kids worse because they're not mine. Or I'm going to treat all my kids this way. And I'm going to make sure that I treat the subsequent wife's children better, or the ones I have with her better. All of this calculating and all of this disturbing behavior and going, okay, her kids don't matter. Mine do. Or this wife's children matter.